This is going to sound weird, but there's more than what meets the eye about January 6th. At least, I think I have a different understanding of what was going through Trump's head when he was sitting in the dining room that evening. Now, why do I say this? Well, I was writing my book and going through my chapters and doing some research, and I came across this particular weird thing, and I'm going to show it to you right now. Now, can you see that? Looks like little Baron Trump and a drawing next to him, and the beige part over there is a book. And this book is from the 1800s, and it was written by Ingersoll Lockwood. And you can find this book online at the Library of Congress.gov. So you can look it up. And it's called The Travels and Adventures of Little Baron Trump and His Wonder Dog, Bulger, or Bulger, however you want to pronunciate it. And apparently Ingersoll wrote a couple other books. Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. Isn't that interesting? And I just made a little video about the DUMBs, the Deep Underground Military Bases. And then a third book was called 1900, The Last President. Well, I think they got the timeline wrong. It's the 2000s, not the 1900s. But so to tell you a little bit more about these books, yes, Ingersoll wrote them, but this little boy, Baron, he meets a guy named the Donald, or befriends a guy named the Donald, and the Donald leads him to some tunnels in Russia. Yeah, and little Baron he has a castle Trump on Fifth Avenue in New York. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, this is crazy. This is weird. He has a castle Trump on Fifth Avenue in New York. All right. And the Last President book, it talks about this president, and there was like an upheaval, I think during his election. Oh, and he had like a vice president, Pence was the vice president. Yeah. And there was mobs of vast size. Here we go. Mobs of vast size are organizing under the lead of anarchists and socialists and threaten to plunder and despoil the houses of the rich who have wronged and oppressed them for so many years. Isn't that interesting? Let me read that again. Mobs of vast size are organizing under the lead of anarchists and socialists and threaten to plunder and despoil the houses of the rich who have wronged and oppressed them for so many years. Yeah, I write about this in my book. So what you should know is President Trump, or ex-President Trump, his uncle was Dr. John Trump. He was a professor of electrical engineering at MIT. And he also was with the National Defense Research Committee for the Office of Scientific Research and Development. And also for the Office of Alien Property. The Office of Alien Property. Dr. John Trump. But guess what? It gets better. Dr. Trump was friends with Tesla. And so when Tesla passed away, his nephew showed up at his apartment, or actually it was a hotel room, I think. And some of his special secret papers were missing. Apparently, Dr. Trump got there before he did, confiscated them, read them, and then reported that there was nothing interesting Oh, and he gave these documents to the alien Office of Property. He had Tesla's papers. Now, I'm going to tell you. Do I think that Donald Trump time traveled? No, I don't. Do I think Barron Trump time traveled? I don't know. Maybe. Is that why Melania seemed to be pissed off so often? I mean, kind of was keeping Barron away from everybody. It could be. I don't think Donald ever time traveled, because if he did, wouldn't he be like on all the money and history would change and he'd have pushed George out of the boat, not George Bush, but George Washington, and Donald would have been the first president, and whatever. History would have been really screwed up. I know. So no, and I think the Donald is too disruptive to have been quiet and not change the timeline. But Barron, I don't know. Or was Ingersoll really a good prophet? But man, to even sketch the kid, Fifth Avenue, New York, the mob, the president stuff, I mean, something was going on. So I think on January 6th, Donald Trump knew about this book. And I think he sat there in the dining room waiting for history to play out. At least history according to Ingersoll, Lockwood. But just because Ingersoll wrote about it doesn't mean that it was going to manifest and be true. Now, the next elections are coming up, so I don't know. Maybe the situation is going to replay itself. Oh, God, I hope not. But so on January 6th, I think the Donald was thinking about the doctor and Tesla and hoping and praying for his manifest destiny. Well, it's a thought anyway.